Once upon a midnight dreary. Oh, this is like Blues Traveler. While I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. Dark Souls Player's Guides. While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this and nothing more." But he doesn't get up? A visitor? Is this an opium dream? Is that what this is about? Ah, distinctly I remember. It was in that bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. This is a very similar poem to Annabelle Lee. This guy had two great loves. Sir... We gotta do this.
Circes.
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 Circes. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me. Filled me, oh no. Each purple... Each purple curtain thrilled me. Each purple curtain filled me. Why don't you feed me? Each purple curtain. This is my entry for our Ravenoff contest. Filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." But he doesn't get up, and he's too terrified to move, perhaps. Presently my soul grew stronger out of his opium haze. Hesitating then, I think Lenore probably went before Annabelle Lee, I think that poem might be the last poem he ever wrote. Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word Lenore. Merely this and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see them, what thereat is." That's a fucking stretch. That's a fucking sloppy landing, Edgar Allan. Let me see there what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more. Open here I flung the shutter, when with many flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obsessance made he, nor a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just upon my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my said fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shown and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such name as nevermore. But the raven sitting lonely on the placid bust, that one word as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. It's so classically edgelordy. Then the bird said, nevermore. I wonder if I'm just used to not looking at my mic levels these days. I mean, maybe I'll have to see how this sounds. I'm very annoyed because I feel like, no, I definitely was looking at my levels last night. I don't know what the hell, like nothing has changed. Like no setting has changed. Did I even turn on the other? Amazing. Perennial problem. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock in store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore of never, nevermore. I wonder where those kitties are. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fallow, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining, on the cushion's velvet lining, that the lamplight gloated o'er, whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er. Why not over? Does that rhyme with core? Is that or supposed to rhyme with core? Jesus Christ, Edgar. Come on, dude. Which cat do I see? I see core outside. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee. By these angels he hath sent thee. Respite, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. If you have been listening to this channel or this fucking show for a minute, you may have known that recently the river, was it Nepenthe? Or was it Leith? I feel like it's the same thing. What's a Nepenthe? I could be wrong. Yeah. Well, it's pitcher plants. Is that why I know? For a second, I got confused about the river Leith because it sounds like he wants to forget. Is there like disambiguation? Quaff this kind Nepenthe. I almost feel like it's the name of like a forgetting potion. Nepenthe Raven. A potion that allows the drinker to forget his or her suffering. I wonder if this word is mentioned. We talked about the river Leith. I feel like we might have talked about the drink Nepenthe. This might have something to do with Hyperion, or I might just be... You know. Prophet, said I, thing of evil. Prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter set, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore. Desolate, yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. That sounds like a localization problem. Whatever, that's like Shaka when the walls fell. Is there balm in Gilead? Oh, wait. Oh, then he says the same thing. Prophet said I think of evil. Prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aiden, it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. We almost forgot about Lenore for a minute there. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak out from my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven. This guy was very dramatic. And the raven. This is supposed to be the scary part. Sorry. Now I'll never. And the raven never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming, and the light lamplight o'er him, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.